quickly. As people join, I'm going to start. I'm going to start today's session. But anybody else, guys? Wins for the week? Anybody?
I started doing some of the link sharing amongst my own sites that I have.
Okay.
From what we learned last week, and so look forward to seeing what comes of it.
Awesome, love it. I'm seeing a lot of names here. All right, I see Danny here, Mike. Who else do I see? Neil. Yvonne, long time, good to see ya. Did I see Janet? I'm not sure. I thought I saw. Okay, I'm going to start. I'm going to start today's session, guys. Right. So here's the background. Okay, I'm only recording this. Number one, please mute yourselves as people join in. We let them in, but please mute yourselves. Number two, everybody, all of us here are in the SEO game, right? SEO industry. Either you're doing SEO, some form of SEO, rank and rent, maybe your own website, rank and rent, maybe client side, running your own business, doesn't matter, right? But we all know SEO is evolving now. It's always, the Google algorithm changes all the time, it looks like, but especially now it's evolving big time. AI is here, and then we start hearing about something called ChatGPT came out a couple of years ago, and then every other, version of ChatGPT came out. I'm going to go into details. And then Google search results, I started seeing a couple of things last year. My own sites, and then also people in my group, mastermind, my coaching, just people in my SEO circles, interacting, where they were saying, hey, I'm ranking in the map pack. My keywords are ranking organic, but my traffic hasn't really gone up. And we started digging into that, and we saw there was a lot more coming up, okay? Just the way search was being displayed was changing, morphing, stuff like that. So one of the things I pride myself doing is being able to reverse engineer Google. Been doing that for 10 years. To the point where some of the other SEO gurus come to me. Of course, also we learn definitely. But I'm one of those technical guys. I only know maybe 2 or 3 other technical guys who really dive in deep and all that and reverse engineer stuff, okay? One of them is a guy called Khaled. I got to know of him a few years ago. Some of you may know Greg Morrison. I think at least at some point, maybe even now, he was like a goat of SEO. We all learned SEO from him. And Greg Morrison doesn't endorse a lot of other SEO guys. And he endorsed this guy called Khaled. I bought a few backlinks from him. He's one of those guys who's, you don't see him in the SEO circles doing information courses or doing webinars. He's one of those guys like me, technical, right? Not that Caleb. Yep, Caleb is super smart, yeah, but this is Khaled. I'll bring him tomorrow. He's our guest speaker tomorrow, okay? But I want to give you some background, some context before jumping into today's session, right? I know that this guy has been doing SEO from whenever Google came out, right? 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8, those times, right? One of those technical guys, and he's not somebody who sells a course. Nothing wrong with that. I have my own course. But he's one of those guys who reverse engineers stuff, then builds freaking software and grows his agencies, okay? Like I said, Greg Morrison doesn't endorse a lot of guys, and he endorses this guy. So long story short, I was following him. Not easy to get a hold of because he doesn't even have an iPhone, okay? That's how reclusive he is. Long story short, and he doesn't have a Twitter or a Facebook or a Instagram, and he doesn't post. He's just head down Google technical nerd kind of a guy, right? When this AEO, GEO, all of those came out, I started learning, testing, implementing, and I reached out to this guy, and he shared a couple of things. There were only like 11 or 12 people who were able to get into his inner circle kind of a thing. I'll be going through all of that tomorrow. Long story short, in the last 3-4 weeks interacting with him and his stuff, I learned more and I saw more results than what I've been testing myself and interacting with others and implementing in terms of ranking in ChatGPT, Google AI overviews. All of this is tomorrow, 12 noon. I will be sending an email, and I'll be, at the end of this today's session, I will be furnishing you the exact link. It's a different Zoom link. It's 12 noon EST bringing him. But what I want you to understand is this. What I want you to understand is I reached out to him because I was mind blown by the stuff that I was learning from him, right? Only few people, like less than a dozen people, like he was sharing this new stuff with, right? Because he was being reverse engineering ChatGPT for the last 2 years. Like he was spending $50,000 on tokens, like before I even know what token was about, right? Really techie nerdy stuff. So I started learning from his stuff last 3 weeks, and I was mind blown. And so a week or two ago, maybe 10 days ago, I reached out to him and said, man, I have a mastermind. You need to come and teach this stuff, right? I was ready to even pay him to come and teach this stuff. And he was one of those guys like, no, sorry, right? Long story short, I was nagging him enough. I suggested to him saying, put a freaking coaching or a course on this AEO, GEO, because I'm learning so much. There'll be a lot of other people who can learn from that, right? In 1 month, he made $89,000 selling his GEO stuff, right? I mean, tomorrow we were sharing all that. But long story short, he agreed to come to share some stuff in my mastermind on one condition. The condition was, man, I don't want to come and share all this to those who don't even know what ChatGPT is, what LLM is, what GEO is, what AEO is, right? He's like, if you can make sure they're prepped up, they at least know the foundations, then I will come. And so I'm like, okay. So today's session is all about the basics, the foundation. And some of this you may know, but I'm going to show you a couple of things that I learned from him as well. So that's going to kind of, I think will blow your mind off. But you should know what I'm going to show you today. And end of today, literally by end of today, you will know more than definitely 99.9% of the people out there in the world. But you will also know more than at least 95%, 99%, at least 95% of the SEO people, marketers out there. Okay? So that's the backstory. So today is all about you want to take notes, you want to learn the foundation, because tomorrow I'm going to bring him and see whatever he can share, right? So let me dive into today, right now, what I'm going to be sharing to you. And as you have any questions, comments, please put it in the chat. I'm monitoring that. And I'll put all the link and the information for tomorrow's session, 12 noon EST, here in the Zoom. So when I'm looking left, I'm looking at my other monitor when I'm monitoring the chat and all that. But you guys can see my screen, right? Okay, my beautiful thing here, right? So give me a 1 if you know, well, give me a 1 if you heard of AEO and GEO, right? If you at least heard of it, or give me a 2 if you have no idea what this is. So at least I know where you guys are, right? Give me a 1 if you heard of it. Okay, most people have heard of it. Mike hasn't heard of it. Okay, no problem. Sebastian, okay, a couple of people have not heard about it. Most people have heard about it, okay? So here is what I wanted to understand, right? The search landscape, Google. I'm going to share some slides, then I'm going to jump into Google and show you a real example, right? The search landscape has changed. Like last 10 years, like 2014 onwards, 12 years now, I'm in SEO, right? It was the 7-pack when I got into SEO. Then it was 3-pack, right? Then Google Ads, then Google LSA ads, right? I mean, there's so much. Google is changing not just the algorithm every so often, also what we are seeing, what Google is displaying, okay? A few months ago, for the first time ever, Google, in its documentation, they put out a code red. They basically said ChatGPT and other LLMs, and I'll explain what an LLM is taking away our traffic, code red. And they changed the way Google was showing, is displaying its search, okay? So what you and I as SEO folks, SEO marketers, what do we do? What have we been doing all these years? Hey man, I'll get your website #1 on Google, right? That's the old world. If you're still promising your business, your clients, I'll get your website on Google, yeah, okay, it can work. But visibility right now is not just about ranking a page. It's about the answer itself being displayed on Google through AI. Okay, the real question is no longer how do I rank, but how can you be chosen as the answer, right? The good news is this. Answer engine optimization. That's the new keyword. I'm going to go into all of these buzzwords. If you you have any questions, put it in the chat. I'm monitoring the chat. Okay? But basically, most SEO agencies, and trust me guys, day in and day out, I'm dealing with clients, members in my mastermind, members in my group, contractors, business owners. Most of them, these SEO agencies especially, they are doing 2022, 2024, 2021 SEO, right? Most of them don't even know the normal stuff that we do. Okay? Like if I tell PBN, most of them will be like, oh no, PBN doesn't work, right? Having no idea, PBN is just it's a term that is so misunderstood, right? So traditional SEO, the foundation is still there. Backlinks, content, all of that, your page load speed, optimization is still there. Don't get me wrong. But we are hearing all of these new terms, right? Most of you haven't heard of AEO, GEO. Has anyone even heard of LLMO and RAG, right? RAG. I'm going to go through all that. Okay? So AEO, I'm going to give you definitions, write it down, and I'm going to show you examples. And if you have any questions, please put in the chat. Okay? Is not just about ranking your website in Google. It's about being the answer itself. Okay? It's not being here are the 10 results. No, that's not it, right? So AEO examples of feature snippets. I'm going to show you examples in a minute, right? Google knowledge panels, Google AI overviews, right? This borders on GEO. We'll go into that so you'll understand, and I'm going to show you examples, but just understand it, right? AEO, to easily understand, is if you ask a question in Google, Google doesn't give you a link, it gives you a freaking answer. That's answer optimization. So if you're doing SEO, you're optimizing for the search engine. If you're doing AEO, you're optimizing so you are the answer, or your client is the answer that Google shows up. Does that make sense? Okay? That's AEO, right? And just so you know, even the Alexa, Siri, all of that, they get how do you get your clients or your sites recommended here? Through optimizing for AEO, right? GEO, I know these are newer buzzwords, generative engine optimization, is being cited by these AI systems like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, Claude, all of that. Does that make sense? So GEO, some people also call it LLMO, right? It's just funny terms, large language models, right? LLM, okay, just large language model like ChatGPT, same thing, different names, right? Now Google AI overview, it comes up on Google search. Though it comes up on Google search, it kind of falls under GEO because Gemini, which is Google's version of ChatGPT, Google's AI LLM, is the brain behind that. You want to optimize for Gemini. Gemini will, it's the brain. It takes the information, synthesizes all of it, and shows it in Google, displays it in Google. Does that make sense? So far, is it making sense? Give me a yes. If it's not, give me a no. Right? I want to make sure you guys understand AEO, GEO, so you're not confused. Okay? Yes. Okay, great. We're starting at the foundations, guys. Okay, awesome. Trust me, AEO, GEO, people still get confused. Some people still say AEO is getting the answers in ChatGPT. GEO is in Google. It doesn't matter. AEO and GEO, if you understand what it is, like what I told you here, that's the first foundation you need to understand. Okay? Now, in 2025 May, about 9 months ago, whatever, Google launched something called AI Mode, which is more of a conversational search experience. I'm going to show you examples. And the reason I put this slide is because Google, actually, they themselves have said this out, is that this will be the future of search, right? So the Google SEO search that you and I know, if I type in plumber Detroit and you get a bunch of websites, that's slowly going away. We don't know how it's going to be 1 year from now, 2 years from now. Here's the thing. 5, 6, 4 years ago, there were a lot more searches for plumber Chicago, dentist Dallas. Now, people are having more conversations. I myself, I talk to ChatGPT all the time. I probably talk a lot more to ChatGPT. I joke than to my wife is what I say, right? But I literally talk out things like, hey, I'm looking for a pediatric dentist near me, and he's going to recommend a few. So conversational, right? And that's Google's AI mode, okay? So what you need to understand is, even though there are other LLMs, I'm going to go through a couple of those. The 800-pound gorilla that most people use is ChatGPT. 800 million weekly users all over the world, right? Less than 2 years, ChatGPT, right? So many daily searches. Like there's a couple of members in our mastermind, Marvin and Jeff, right? They came in the last couple of coaching calls and literally said they're getting more leads through ChatGPT than through their own Google business profile, right? And I know there'll probably be others, but I'm just naming these two people. Does that make sense? So what you need to understand is, in this new, the AI world is the wild, wild west, guys. Okay, if you thought, oh my God, like if you were like Bitcoin in 2011 or Google Ads in 2004 or whatever, right? It's like that right now. In SEO, when I got in 2014, honestly, I could do keyword stuffing and rank, right? It was a little bit easier in 2014 than 2026, right? AI search and AI is the wild, wild west right now, because things are changing so much and people have no idea what's happening, or they have to really be on top of it. Does that make sense? Okay. So ChatGPT used to use Bing for real-time searches. As of mid-2025, it switched to Google. So one more benefit is, if you rank well in Google, it actually helps with ChatGPT visibility, right? There's something called RAG, Retrieval Augment Generation, I guess. Okay, I'll go through that, right? ChatGPT and all these LLMs, they were trained with so much of data up until a point in time. So when ChatGPT came out in 2023, I believe, or 2024, whatever that was, 2023 maybe, right? They trained ChatGPT on all the data in the World Wide Web up until 2019 or 2020 or something like that, right? So ChatGPT has all that knowledge, information in its brain, but as new data comes in, it actually goes and retrieves new, fresh content and shows it. That's RAG, right? We'll go through that also. But what I want you to understand is, this is what I want to understand. All of these things, like ChatGPT is the big one, right? Perplexity is another LLM, okay, large language model. Think of it like ChatGPT with receipts, okay? It gives the answer, it will show its sources also. Gemini is Google's standalone AI. I've been playing with this for the last few months now, and over time is morphed into, I use ChatGPT for specific stuff. I use Gemini for specific stuff. I use Claude. Okay, Claude is Gemini is Google's AI. Okay, Claude is Anthropic, is the company's AI, right? So over time, each of these LLMs came to be known for certain things. For example, Claude is very good when it comes to writing. So the emails that you get from me, mostly Claude writes it, then I just make some edits and I email to you. Okay? ChatGPT is more like a personal assistant to me. I talked about a lot of things, including, hey man, I had some stomach problem today. I ate this and this, diagnosed, right? Gemini is more.
Yeah. It's finished setting today, so yeah.
Guys, please, I want to mute everyone, but please make sure you're muted, guys, okay? Grok is Elon Musk or Twitter or X's AI. By the way, Grok is the only AI LLM that's ingrained in a social platform, which is Twitter or X, right? So literally, you can ask Grok to go and search for the latest tweets, threads in X platform, on the latest in whatever you want to do research, it will do the research, right? You get the idea. So you can literally get different LLMs for different, is what I'm saying, right? Manus was one that in our mastermind, I shared it about 6-8 months ago. We use Manus a lot. It's more like a agentic AI compared to ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is like a virtual assistant. Manus is like a CEO. You can literally have a lot of these other AIs and do the work for you, right? It's from a Singapore Chinese company, and now Facebook bought Manus and is ingraining Manus into it. So what I'm talking about is, there's so much coming when it comes to AI. It's like we are in the wild, wild west, and we're drinking off of a fire hose, right? So DeepSeek is another Chinese company and all that. So all of this stuff, and even these voice assistants like Alexa, Siri, and all that, right? As we talk more on the phone, we want to make sure that our sites, our client sites, they are recommended by these AI models, and that's what we want to talk about. Does that make sense? So here is something I want to show you, right? Position 0 is what I call, right? There's something called a feature snippet. There's something called an AI overview, right? If I go to Google, you guys can see my screen, right? I'm going to go to Google right now, right? Yep, I'm showing my screen, right? If I search something like who is the best rated plastic surgeon in Los Angeles, Google, yes, it gives me the map back and it gives me all of these organic listings, but right about everything, it gives me the freaking answer, right? According to Google, okay, the number 1 rated plastic surgeon is Dr. Michael Omidi. This is a featured snippet, right? So I'm one of those guys, when I see that, I'm like, why is this guy, what does this guy have that these other guys don't have, right? And so I open everybody and I actually see what they have, what they don't have. Not just in terms of the page, the content, the keywords, but then I also put them into Ahrefs and I also see, okay, backlinks, okay, anchor text, okay, all of those things, right? So this is what I call by feature snippet, right? Literally the only reason, one of the reasons is ranking for my, and by the way, when I do a search for plastic surgeon Los Angeles, right? This is the map pack. When I come down here, Google gives me these. You see that? The more I click on this, right? Come on, computer. The more I click on this, the more they open up. You see that? Right? So this is something called often asked questions, right? So if Google is showing this, it means this guy, okay, this question is an often asked question, okay? And that's how I got this question. And I was like, okay, I was doing this research and I started seeing this kind of question. Who is the highest rated plastic surgeon? I copied this, right? And then I searched for that and I got this feature snippet. So Google is telling me, I did not just pick this keyword, this long tail keyword out of my behind. I literally find out this is an often searched keyword or search term. And this guy is coming up as a featured snippet. And when I went to see what is this guy doing, right? Why is he being featured here? Because literally he has a blurb that answers that. Okay, among other things, we'll talk about that tomorrow also, right? Literally he is rated himself. He's at least posted it and says, rate MDs has made him rated number 1. This guy has, if not good enough, if not more reviews and all that, right? He's in so many magazines, but what's the point? He's in all his magazines, but he's not in Google. Does that make sense? So chances are high that this guy is getting all the traffic. And then I can say, this is a featured snippet. Okay? Now, here is what I want you to understand. Google is still rolling this out in the local space. So it is more for conversational long tail questions. But here's what I also want to see, right? I want to show. If I take the same keyword, I go here and I go incognito and I search for that. See what comes up. It is searching. It is generating an AI overview. You see that? This is an AI overview. The same guy comes up, Michael Omidi, but it also shows a few more guys. You see that? He's over here as well. This is an AI overview because Google actually takes from different sources, synthesizes or puts it together as to what it thinks is best, and then displays this. This is a featured snippet. Does that make sense? So this we can do for SEO. This would probably fall under SEO maybe, right? Bordering on AEO really. Answer engine, we wanted the answer, the feature snippet. This is GEO, generative. It has to generate, it has to get the answers from different sources and generate an answer for you. Does that make sense, guys? When I started looking into this, Jesse says, wow, this is dope. Thank you. Yeah, if this is like, oh my God, I'm learning, mind blown, give me some love, give me some feedback because I'm pouring my heart out for free. Right? Okay, thanks, Jesse. I appreciate that, right? Okay? But this is what I'm talking about. Okay? Any questions, comments, anything like that? I think Mike says, love it, thank you. At least a couple of guys is awesome. Okay. Now, let's go to this. Danny says AI overview doesn't give contact info, share a phone number. Who knows, Danny? Over time, this can keep changing. That's what I'm saying. Now, watch this, right? Casey says, I think it's Chetna. Hey, good to see you. I take the same freaking question, I put it in Chat GPT. Who is the highest rated plastic surgeon? It gives me a few other, you know what, you see that here? It gives me a few answers here, right? So remember I said I'm one of those geeky guys. Why is Chat GPT recommending these guys? I don't see John, whatever his name was, Madini, Michael Omidi, right? How come I don't see him here? I see the others, right? Access, get info, right? And so I am the kind of a guy who literally goes, opens each of these guys and sees what is happening. How many of you, give me a one if all of you have used ChatGPT. I'm going to ask you two questions. Give me a one if you use ChatGPT. Okay? Okay? Yep, tomorrow, Frank, we'll be going over that. And I have a mystery speaker tomorrow. We go over that. Okay, now, stop giving me the one. Give me a yes if you know this. If you ever come down all the way here and clicked on sources and looked into this, give me a yes if you've done that, or a no if you've never done this in ChatGPT. No, right? So, okay, one guy said yes. Who was that? Nalin and Jeff. Okay, Jeff is our AI specialist, right? Yeah, there you go, right? But most others are like, no. Now you see this here, okay? The red tree, this looks like a website. This is a freaking press release. Does that make sense? This is a press release, okay, website, Wikipedia. So what as I'm doing this is what I call the reverse engineering, and I love to do this. I don't like to talk to clients much of the time. I love to just be behind Google and reverse engineer and start ranking in Google and AI and GEO and AEO, right? As I was learning all of this, okay, I reached out to this guy called Khalid, right? Literally this guy called Khalid, and I shared this with him, and he came back with a lot more stuff. I was like mind blown, right? To the point I got into his inner circle about a dozen people or so. Okay. Let me see. I wanted to see if I can even bring him on, but tomorrow he's definitely going to be here, right? But here is what I want to show you, okay? Why AI overviews matter right now is the wild west, okay? Today I sent out an email where yesterday I was texting a few past clients. These were SEO clients in the past, okay? And I tested two of my past clients about this new AI AEO stuff, and both of them said, yes, we want more information. Easy clients is what I'm saying, okay? Most people don't know this. Most people don't know how to get in here. Instant authority, right? If I am looking to do, okay, have a boob job, right? Okay, I want to do a boob job. I'm looking for a nose job, right? And I'm looking for the highest plastic surgeon, right? Of course, you and I, as SEO folks, will go and do more research. For the average person out there, they're going to just read this and say, okay, this guy's rated number one. Call him up, right? And an easy $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 job here. Same with any niche. Does that make sense? Okay? That's what I'm talking to you about. Okay? So the incognito secret is what I wanted to understand today. Okay? We'll go more into this later on. But like I said, okay, I was able to reach out to this guy and Khalid and ask him, hey man, can you jump on a call and teach this to my mastermind students? And he literally said, only, okay, first he was like no and all that, but then he said, only if you get them up to speed on these basic things and all that, okay? So tomorrow, 12 noon EST, I haven't done yet, don't go away, but I'm just letting you know now. Tomorrow, 12 noon, okay, at the end of this next few slides, I'm going to give you the link to that. 12 noon. Please mute yourselves, guys. 12 noon EST. I'm bringing Khalid, and he's going to do he's going to share some stuff that whatever he wants to share, okay, about AEO, GEO. Literally, he showed me, he shared with me the other day, $89,000 or $80,000 in clients, in 1 month, just with his new stuff. That's where I got the idea, and I texted a couple of people who are interested. Does that make sense? We're living in a time it's crazy, okay? So this incognito thing I wanted to understand. What is that? Number one, understand this is AEO, right? But the same thing if you search in Google Incognito, it is going to give an AI overview and not a feature snippet. This will be GEO. I know it can be a bit confusing. Okay? Why? Because in Incognito, it doesn't know my history. It doesn't have anything about me. So it is kind of bringing up and synthesizing everything and showing all of this to me, right? If a new person is searching plastic surgeon or if it's a new search, this is CEO. I search for plastic surgeon because I have old client, and so most of the time AI overview is coming up 75%. Same search you do on your mobile iPhone, search for the same thing, highest rated plastic surgeon in Los Angeles or in your city. Chances are high you will not see a feature snippet, you will see an AI overview. Okay, anybody search in Google in the phone. Okay, Jesse is searching and put it in the chat. Do you see an AI overview? Do you see a feature snippet? Let me know. Okay.
While they are doing that, can you go back to your ChatGPT conversation?
Sure, we can do that.
Because if you scroll up, I'm just curious what you wrote in the prompt. Like, how did you get this citation thing on the right?
So it comes all the way to the bottom. It actually gives you the source.
Oh, there. Okay, sorry, I missed that. Okay, thank you.
Right? So Jesse or anybody else do the search. When you do the search, do you see a feature snippet on the phone or do you see an AI overview? Google, everyone says, I heard Google is deprecating, doing away with Q&A. We don't know. If it goes away, we'll find out. Okay, AI overview, Jeff says, Frank says, yep. Okay, yeah, Sebastian says no. Okay, Sebastian, I'm not sure where you are, but chances are high you should see an AI overview. If you're seeing something else, let me know, right? But you see where I'm going with this, okay? Literally, here is the golden rule, guys, okay? Think about it from AI's perspective. What is AI? It's artificial intelligence, okay? For Quebec, Canada, there's no AI overview. Okay, wow. Now, this is something we can ask Khalid tomorrow, okay? But think of it like this, guys, okay? AI literally takes it from, it goes and searches it from the internet. It has its own, it's been trained on all the Google data, right? And takes it from that internet data. Or it uses RAG, okay, which is the last slide over here, okay? Okay, retrieval augmented generation. It is literally to make LLMs keep improving them. Okay, they retrieve and pull up-to-date information, fresh information. They generate the answer. Okay, simple terms. So that way, these LLMs are not only, they don't rely only on what's memorized during training. Does that make sense? Okay, so what do I get out of this? What I want you to understand out of this is not just to learn and say, okay, wow, makes sense. Use your brain, and at least this is how I reverse engineer, right? Okay, and which is basically, if AI is going to get new information, okay, I go and see what sources is getting this information to give me this answer, right? If you have Gemini, do the same thing with Gemini. Right? If you have Perplexity, that gives the sources too, right? And so then I can go and do the same thing. Like if I'm in a plastic surgeon niche, these are citations. You get the idea? Right? But there's also a way we do that, and that's what I learned from Khaled. There's a structured freaking format and all of that, which I've asked him to come tomorrow and share whatever he can, right? So I covered all this. Tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time, I've asked him to come. This is a different Zoom link. I'm going to put it in the chat. If I can find chat, okay? Write it down, okay? I will be emailing it to all of you. I will be posting it in the Facebook group, right? But this one here, guys, tomorrow, because this is the guy, like I said, for those who joined late, right? I've been doing all this, and I only like maybe two guys who really are come to the mastermind and share, and he gave me one condition is to bring everybody up to speed. Okay? But tomorrow, 12 noon, come with any questions. 12 noon Eastern time tomorrow, I will be emailing it out. If you are not in my email list, make sure you get into that. Send me a message on Facebook. Or watch the Facebook group. Okay, whatever group you're in or school group, I'll be posting it everywhere. This is the Zoom link. Seth, you're welcome to invite a couple of team members. Absolutely, no worries, okay? Because here is what I'm going to go with this, guys. Okay, I've been in the SEO industry 12 years. I know every single SEO guy out there. Trust me. I also am one guy. You may have noticed if you work with me, I don't get involved with any of this drama that's going on in the SEO industry. I don't go and put anybody down. At the same time, I can easily see through a guru who's selling stuff without knowing stuff and somebody who knows his stuff and who shares. And those who people like Jeff and Mike and Steve and those who are in my mastermind know, I probably do a lot more to bring value to those in my community than other guys, right? Honestly, maybe 5% of my income is through mastermind and courses. 95% rank and rent client SEO. Why? I love that. It's recurring income. 2, right? Mastermind, you pay me once and then I will be teaching you forever. The client, they pay me every month. And literally, if you know what you're doing, you have a team doing it. Does that make sense? Right? I'm not saying I'm the best holier than thou. What I'm saying is, in the last 7 or 8 years I had my Facebook group, I probably promoted and brought maybe 4 or 5 guys, less than half a dozen guys. Right? I can count them in my hand. Right? This guy, Khaled, as far as I know, I'm sure there's a guys like Riz and Jeff who have been in SEO service a long time. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this guy. I haven't seen him in SEO circuit. I haven't seen him preaching on Instagram. He doesn't have an iPhone. He doesn't have, he's not on social media. He did all of that. He's just him, a technical nerd, builds software, has a bunch of engineers in his team, and reverse engineer stuff. Those are the guys I want to learn from. I literally had to coax him to come. So tomorrow, 12 noon. Guys, anybody has any, okay, if you learn something great, please give me learn something, mind blown, thank you, show me some love. But anybody has any questions, also put it in the chat, okay? Give me a mind blown if you found this valuable. Learned a lot, taxmate, okay, awesome, thank you, Zia, thank you, Mike. Alexis, mind blown, thank you, right? We are just starting, guys. Trust me on that. Next few weeks, next few months, we're going to go so deep. As AI comes with this new stuff, we're going to be on top of it. Okay, literally, we are going to move away from $1,500 and $2,000 a month clients, and we're going to enterprise level clients. What I mean by that, we're going to go to $10,000, $20,000 a month clients, because the stuff we have, people who are at least $1 million, $2 million and above businesses will understand and value more than maybe the appliance repair guy next door. Right? I'm not saying don't take the appliance repair guy, take it, right? Easy money, but you get what I'm saying. You have to understand the value of what you have. Okay? Different Zoom link, I put it in the chat. Those of you who don't have it, I'm putting it again. Note this down, Zoom link. I will be emailing it tomorrow also on Facebook, posting on Facebook group. 12 noon Eastern time. Please show up, guys. Okay? We want to learn something from this guy. Ask him questions, whatever, and we go from there. Cool? Anyone's got any questions? Anything at all? All right, awesome. I see super stoked. Thank you. Awesome. Love it. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Appreciate that. Tomorrow's will be recorded, yes, but he's recording it. So I don't know, right, how much of it will be, he'll share it or not. He's literally been telling me he doesn't want to share a lot of things. And I've literally been pushing him, please share, right? So I left it to him because he doesn't do freaking webinars, man. I'm the one forcing him to show value. And I understand this is gold stuff. I even told him, put something together and sell it if you want to, because this is valuable, right? We're still working things out with him. After this, I'm going to get a call with him, because he's going to be asking me how many guys people showed up here and how many going to show up tomorrow. Because in his mind, he's like, it won't be worth his time if he's only going to come and show up for 2 people. And I'm like, I got 120 people in my mastermind, right? I got so many people in my Facebook group. But guys, you need to show up and learn to get this going. Does that make sense? Cool, guys. 12 noon Eastern time tomorrow, guys.